Well, hello, good evening. It's an unusual time for me. It's 8:30 on a Tuesday night, but it's a chance to have a first look at the London Overground Mild Main line, which of course has been released today. Feels a little bit like after the Lord Mayor's show in many ways, because there has been so many videos that have been released today and indeed yesterday, that those ambassadors that have the early access to it. So I'm not exactly the first, I think it's fair to say, but good evening, Amazed Tays, and good to see you in, and hopefully there'll be one or two more as a little time goes on. But we've got no intro tonight, so we are going to delve straight into the into it. It's been quite an exciting week as well with the roadmap yesterday. There's quite a lot going on and a lot to look forward to, hopefully, over the next few weeks as well. So let's have a look. We're going to just do the one run, and it's going to be Willesden Junction to Stratford, and then we'll kind of keep things going when we get to Stratford, and try and have a look around along the way. So it's not necessarily going to be the fastest run. I don't think we're going to be exactly on time for this run, but I think we'll check. We'll do something about rush hourish time in the afternoon. So what have we got? Well, it says Clapham Junction to Stratford, but of course that'll be Willesden Junction to Stratford. We'll do that, the 16:29. I think that's what we'll go for. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and what I've seen of it so far looks lovely, and very pleased by the extent of the map as well. I was just having a quick glance before I came in, and I did a little free roam thing. I was glad to see that we have St Pancras included, and even King's Cross come to that, although there's no catenary at King's Cross. There's quite a few bits of the map that look quite interesting. So here we are at Willesden Junction. Of course, we're very familiar with the lower level on Train Sim Classic and on Train Sim World as well. We've got an overground train arriving in. We have a Bakerloo line train on the other platform going towards London Euston. And we've got the main lines over here as well. So quite possible you'll see a Pendolino or something else coming through. All right, fantastic. Yeah, do you know, it's amazing the speed that people put things in as well. I'll have to go with the original lighting for the time being, but there we are. So let's get things set up. Doesn't seem like 5 minutes ago since we were running the Train Sim Classic Armstrong Powerhouse upgrade. When was that? About November time, this exact same route.
Operates a no smoking policy. This includes e-cigarettes.
So I notice they don't seem to have quite sorted the passengers out. At least we've got passengers on the train, but they don't seem to be getting on and off the train as far as I can see. Yeah, it's amazing the speed that people get things done. Now you can see an LNWR 350 in the background as well. So we'll try and have a look around at some of the stations and Try and take on a few bits and pieces. I'm liking what I've seen of it so far, and I think there's going to be plenty of entertainment value on this. Very interesting road map yesterday as well. And I know you've talked quite a bit about the German routes, but that Frankfurt S-Bahn thing with the 3 routes on looks really intriguing. I think that's a cracking idea. It's a little bit of a network. Very much looking forward to the Welsh Cardiff City network, or whatever they're calling it. And the Dutch route as well. I can see that Dovetail Games are going to be taking quite a bit off me over the next few weeks. Yeah, it looks really good, doesn't it, the Cardiff City network? I mean, I don't totally understand the full ins and outs of the whole network, but it looks as though there's at least a couple of full runs on there. Yeah, I'm not sure about the Dutch one. I must admit, I need to kind of have a look at the map and even try and work out the route a little bit. I'm not even sure if Amsterdam is included or not. There's been a few comments about the sounds on this thing. Coming in a little bit fast for the first stop. Gonna overshoot, that's not a good start, is it? Never mind. We'll try and take on some of the stations, some of the amazing scenery around that has been done. It's been very, very well created. And we'll do perhaps a more in-depth look by Sunday. It's just kind of hoping. I think the thing is, by Sunday people are probably going to have had enough of the this North London line, but be a chance to explore a bit more, do some freight runs, to do a few other bits and pieces. It's great that we've got the 378 spawning in on West Coast Main Line South as well. Be good if that can be. I've not checked whether it's included in Fawkes' timetable already. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be on time either, because I'm hoping to kind of have a little jaunt and have a look around as well. It was interesting to listen to Johannes last week with the preview stream, and I think it's fair dues to, because he obviously he's developed it all himself, but he clearly wanted to get this out, and to be fair, just so that he could start earning on it, really. Ah, fantastic! So is the 378 already spawning in on the timetable? Well, that's not a bad stop this time. Yes, of course. Yeah, which is fair enough, really. If you do a run on the Watford DC lines. So Bronsbury Park. They've got all this authentic looking. It's just a shame there's no. I mean, you've got 1 or 2 passengers knocking about, but I really don't understand why they couldn't have sorted this, where they don't seem to be interested in boarding the train. I love how busy it is as well, with the train certainly by every few seconds.
Personal belongings in you at all times. Any unattended baggage will be removed and may be destroyed by security services.
All right, okay. Yeah, perhaps 1 or 2 little flaws. It always seems to be the way, doesn't it? There's just 1 or 2 things, you know, certainly on release day that aren't quite right, and you kind of think, with a bit of effort, it could have been all absolutely perfect for day 1, really. Station's very much coming up thick and fast, so Bronsbury next. All right, crikey. Yeah, it's always a shame. These things just seem to slightly spoil these initial releases. Other than that, you know, a fantastic job. And there's the first look at one of the Boris buses at a bus stop as well. And I love how he's made the effort to put in pavements. And it just feels as though there's just a bit more of an effort with the buildings around, not just generic buildings. And you've even got there traffic lights with the dividing bollards, all sorts of stuff going on there as well. Well, I never opened the doors, did I? Yeah, very much so, yeah. Yeah, you kind of feel as though, I mean, I don't know, it's probable, surely, these beta testers perhaps did pick up on these things, but it's kind of like, well, we want to get it out, and we're not going to sort it in time for the release. So we'll kind of pretend some of these things don't exist and don't happen. But I prefer them to be just a little bit more honest sometimes. And, you know, I mean, everybody can immediately say, yeah, this is a lovely route and it's very nicely done. They'll fix at least some of these things with patches, but just be nice to get it all fixed and sorted, ready for release. I mean, I know some people have said the sounds are a bit off, that it's a 377 and not a 378, but I guess if you travel on them every single day, you'll know the massive difference, but it's not a big deal for me. I can't really look at it and say notice any great issue with it. Oh, there we go. I think some of the barriers are up here. I mean, it's a shame really, because West Hampstead, you should be able to, you could walk out to the where the street is, you'd be able to have a look at the real West Hampstead, but we haven't got any access to street level, I don't think, have we here? We've only got the footbridge. Yeah, absolutely. They definitely will. I'm sure. What's his name? Itcher. Probably prime target for that. Yeah. Good evening, Gaming at 85. Yeah. Thanks for watching again. I know you watched on Sunday, and there's quite a bit of people, I suspect, different streams, all sorts of stuff going on with the here we go. This is what I was looking for, like an overhead view. Yeah. You can't go any further down, can you? But I know in real life at West Hampstead, it's just a very short walk to the Thameslink station. Yeah, I think they technically call this a capital star, don't they? But it really is just part of the Electrostar family. Got no complaints with the way it drives, the look of the cab and everything else, and it's good that you can actually change the PIS display with the screen over there. Now the thing to absolutely get used to with this is that in a lot of places you've barely got a chance to actually accelerate before the next stop comes up. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, lovely to drive. Nearly decapitated myself there. So at least we've got passengers on the train anyway, because I think when Matt did the preview, they were kind of completely empty, which looked a bit weird. It's just that they never seem to get on or off. I mean, some of these poses, I mean, that's great, but there's no interaction with getting on the train. I thought we'd fixed that years ago. Can't remember whether I shut the door. I haven't shut the doors, have I yet? So Hampstead Heath is next. I know that that's got quite an interesting view in terms of street level. Yeah, I'm not expecting to get a great score on this run, but it's just really to just have a quick look at it. All the videos flying about. There was the of course the ambassadors all got an advanced copy of it yesterday. good to do a freight run on this as well, because I'm sure you must get held up in the passing loops and it'll be quite challenging. I'm not planning on doing one in the snow though. So Hampstead Heath coming up. I mean, it's 12 miles, 18 stations I believe, so it's a nice little run. I mean, some people will complain that it doesn't go to Clapham Junction or to Richmond, but at least it's out. Bear in mind, this was only announced officially just before Christmas. Yeah, I mean, there's maybe a few bits and pieces that are not 100% finished. But loving that scene. Bus coming out as well. Oh. Get hit by that bus. Good to see as well a few pictures of the Class 86-2 coming on as well from Just Trains and the Mark 2F carriages, because I've always thought the non-air conditioned Mark 2s just kind of don't quite fit the era. We really do need those Mark 2Fs that they're bringing out, and that'll look a lot better. Quite like the look of the East Coast Mainline Rail Tour pack thing as well, but on the other hand, we've already got quite an array of Mark 1 carriages, and it doesn't really feel like massively new stock with the 45 and the 47. I really should have known about the 20 there, shouldn't have a Gospel Oak, and of course this is very familiar territory, and we have a Barking Riverside train waiting in the bay platform, and this is one of the places where you can route hop of course and go on to Barking Riverside. I think this is basically exactly the same as how it came out. It'd be good if we could now get the some of those buses in the in the Barking routes. Yeah, well, there is that. And you know, I know we probably haven't got all the varieties of the Mark 1s, but it perhaps isn't that thrilling. Yeah, it'd be nice to see some new stuff. We're already familiar with the cafe, of course. I think basically he's just used the Gospel Oak exactly as it was in the original route, which is fair enough. I know there was one or two kind of bus geeky people, I suppose, mentioned in the original stream about the fact that are the buses actually on real routes in and around the various streets? And of course the answer was no, they're just random on the streets, but I think that's asking a bit too much. Yeah, it's almost almost on the level of the Pacer, really, isn't it? In the distant scenery. That's fair enough, Christopher. Good evening. Yeah, welcome along to the stream. Yeah, exactly right. And that's the thing, isn't it? And I think it's brilliant that they've not just put some random bus in there, and just painted it red. The fact that they've actually made the effort to make it look like one of the Boris buses is great. See ya.
Please remain behind the yellow line at all times. Trains pass through the station at high speed and can cause turbulence.
And it's this sort of stuff that really like it as well. With there you've got a bus stop, you've got a bike rack down there. Normally, other than at platform level, they haven't bothered too much. You've got fencing put in there as well along the street, and you've got pavements, and it's all, you've even got people walking about the streets, so a crossing there as well. That bus is going a bit on the fast side. It's funny how if you stop right in front of it, it'll actually stop. I love the fact you've got people actually waiting for buses as well at the bus stops. I mean, I'm not saying we will, but you could spend 10 minutes just looking at this scene down here. Ah, marvellous. See all those distant buildings as well. I mean, I always thought the Trainsim Classic one was pretty decent, the North London line, but you look across at this and all the detail on the distant buildings, and it's just incredible. So have you managed to get English commentary, or is it Russian commentary to go with it? Yeah, this is the old classic, I suppose, 6-pointer. So coming towards Camden Road. But mean, overall, I think the catenary's pretty good. There were one or two places where I sort of thought, I'm sure there's slightly better gantries in use than the ones that have been used, but I think overall it's really, really nice. Ah, okay, excellent. There you go. That's some detail there as well. I know the you know, the windows are sort of you know, it's kind of just a picture, but it's okay. That one could do with a bit of tidying up, perhaps, the road sections around there. So there'll be some sections that are kind of a bit more accurate than others. I do quite like watching matches actually with just the crowd. It's sometimes it's nice just hearing the sound effects, particularly if you hear the thud of the ball being struck. This is clearly a place where there used to be at least an extra track, possibly two extra tracks, you can see on this section. So Caledonian Road and Barnsbury. We got this little 20-mile-an-hour section at this moment in time. What's the score, incidentally, with Shrewsbury against? Actually, is it Bristol? Is it Bristol? No, it'd be Bristol Rovers, won't it? I was going to say, is it Bristol City, but it'd be, I presume it's Bristol Rovers, am I right in saying? That's a good scene there as well. And you do have access to the platforms at St Pancras. I did do a little trial. I'll just put it into free roam mode and run the train into St Pancras, and it's not quite fully detailed, but at least the platforms are in place. I give it bit of the outside feel and just the look overall of the really detailed scenery. And you know, I'm not saying, I mean, Preston to Carlisle with the West Coast Main Line over Shap is an absolute masterpiece, but at least I guess a lot of the miles and miles of countryside, slightly less time consuming than putting all these buildings in. Yeah, so here we are. At this point, of course, you have the Windrush line, I think it is, isn't it? Or have we got to that yet? Because we haven't got to Highbury and Islington yet, have we? No, that's still just a southbound North London line train, isn't it? No, it's Highbury and Islington, isn't it, where you join up with the Windrush line?
leave your luggage unattended on the station. Luggage left unattended.
You don't see people reading books these days very often, do you? Well, that could be me standing on the platform there, taking a bit of a video. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I missed that one. Yeah, 0-0. Yeah. Cheers. Just hear the little whir of the electric currents against the wires. We have got a paper there, slightly wrong way up, aren't we? Yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah. I have to say, it's things like that that really are excellent.
Closed circuit television and remote video monitoring is in use at this station for your personal safety
I
and
know.
security.
I know. Hang on. Right, doors are locked. No, I should certain I was locked, wouldn't I? Why aren't we moving? Yep, definitely closed. Tell you what, let's put it into forward again. Yeah, the brakes aren't released, are they? Let's have a think about this. Put it into neutral. Well, it won't let us. Tell you what, let's put that into off. Put that in, and then let's reset it again. Haven't got the DRA on. Closed. At the moment we can have a good look around at the train. Doors are closed. Yeah, it seems like it, doesn't it? It's kind of stuck itself. Well, that is an off. Do. Hang on. That is off. And let's put the that into off as well. How bizarre. That'll serve me for going outside and having a look around, won't it? It's not as simple as that, is it? Hang on. It could be. It could be that. There we are. It was as simple as that. The we got the door open. I think. Well, nearly there anyway. Hang on. Yeah, well, it's the driver's door, but we're still not moving though. Right, so we're in neutral. Now we're in forward, but both of those handles should be. They're supposed to be dead straightforward. Right, well, I've one last go at resetting it, and then if we don't, I'll just restart it at Highbury and Islington at about, well, what time are we supposed to be? 16:56. Emergency stop. There we go. No idea. Anyway, we've got it going again. I think I had to do the emergency stop button and clicked it a couple of times. That seemed to do it. There we go. But I think it was all caused by me leaving the door open originally. Yeah, that was a bit strange, that. So we are coming into Highbury and Islington now. So of course this is where the East London line kicks in. Is that called that's the Windrush line, isn't it? And I think according to the map, I think Dalston Junction's on there as well. I don't know if it's got scenery. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that's got scenery on it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've managed to find a way of breaking it anyway. Incidentally, with these ones here, let's just have a Luke. I mean, I can't remember which is which there. That's our train, isn't it? But this one should have it's got its pantograph down. Yeah, it's correctly signposted for West Croydon. And also I noticed very briefly there the Windrush line stuff. So Canterbury is next. It'd be interesting to see when these awesome train sim routes or scenarios come in, because I mean, we haven't seen a single freight train yet on this run, but maybe that's just because I've kind of picked peak time. I guess you wouldn't have maybe so many freight runs at peak time because there's so many other stuff going on. Yeah, so that's again over there. Yeah, it's definitely got its pantograph down on the DC lines heading off to West Croydon or wherever it's off to. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I think that's perhaps the only downside of maybe picking a kind of a peak time run. I'm sure you wouldn't see. So, I mean, that's one of the things I always remember from that video 125 run from Richmond to North Woolwich from all those years ago. And rather like with it, what I did with the there we go. He's a freight. Speaking of freight. Excellent. And I mean, I did that 313 run last week on the West Coast main line with Watford Junction to London Euston, and of course you can't, with the southern model that's available, you can't turn that into AC mode, because to be fair, they've obviously modelled it as it was in service on with Southern, so they'd taken out the pantograph and the AC ability. I think the only thing you could do is use a kind of a 314 in Silverlink colours. That's about the best you could do. Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? It's like buses, isn't it? We talked about them and one came along. Yeah, I'll put the improved lighting in time for Sunday, hopefully. Yeah, loving how busy this is. So I'm trying to be thinking a bit more sensibly in terms of the acceleration. The thing to constantly remember is you've got stations coming up all the time, so it's not that often you really have the chance to get up to the full 45 mile an hour, apart from these little sections when you're getting towards the end of the run. Nice to see there as well, you know, a car park with loads of cars parked up. And the Boris Bus going overhead as well. He's done a fabulous job. And it's one of those things where I think with the Train Sim Classic one, I probably played it up and down once or twice and then put it away for a long time, but there's much more potential to be interested in these runs. Be nice if they can put a bit of a patch in and sort out things like the passenger situation. I mean, I remember when the Bakerloo line first came out, they had a problem there with passengers not seeming to want to board the trains, and I kind of think, you know, that's 5 years ago now. That's a building I remember from Train Sim Classic. There probably are bits and pieces that I think if he got more time he'd probably like to go back in and redo, but...
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Mind the gap.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's showing its age now. But yes, I've seen some of those ones by the under the bridges and stuff. I mean, it's really good to see. No, I haven't closed the doors of it. Yeah, it'd be nice to see some of those buildings have something else put in. Yeah, you can see there just, you know, car parks actually rammed. That was, presumably, that's a supermarket somewhere, or maybe a DIY place, perhaps a home base. That's kind of the classic scene as well, isn't it? The city buildings in the distance as well. Ah, brilliant. That's a nice touch as well. yeah, I'll definitely look forward to giving it a run on the Watford DC line, because it's not unrealistic either, and as far as I know, I mean, obviously they're few and far between, but the occasional one still runs on it now and again. But we've not seen detail like this before on the roads, I think, and they're, you know, double yellow lines as well. I don't know what that is. Kind of, again, just new looking buildings that we've not seen before. Kind of a nice feature as well that we've got single deckers as well as double deckers. I don't think I am actually. I've looked into it. Yeah, I must join that. I guess you get a little bit more of a feel for some of the stuff that's coming out on Train Sim Community, which is an amazing website. Yeah, I love that sort of feel of that building there on the left. Is that the Shard we can see in the distance? Oh no, we can see the Olympic Park anyway there, can't we? Yeah, could be like an old school. Hey, I think you're probably right. And you know, I don't know the route in enough detail, and yes, I've watched some of the cab views, but I don't know how detailed it's possible to put every single building in accurately, but it looks as though he's done a really decent job of using what he could. I mean, I love that scene there as well. The problem is, it looks that good, some of the scenery. It's impossible to actually give the any credit to the driving on it. Oh, right, excellent. Yeah, I must have a look at that. And I mean, you've kind of got to remember this is his first effort at it as well, and he started it, I think he said last April, didn't he, in the stream. So it's kind of excited to see what he might do next. Look at that. That's lovely, and that kind of that disused feel to it with all the graffiti and the graffiti down there, down the side of that warehouse. Now, I was a bit worried when I saw the preview stream as to whether we got West Ham's football ground in the London Stadium, but we have, and I think I'm pleased to see as well, I think it's a slightly modified version, because the one that was in Train Sim Classic was exactly as it was when the Olympics were on, but I think the lighting arrangement around the top's changed a bit as well. Oh yeah, I'm sure we do all see it. Very much so. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yeah. Back in the day, and of course, a lot of the time then it wasn't with overhead lines either. It was pretty much all on third rail, wasn't it? I've seen some of those old Thames news reports that are on YouTube of the old how run down the North London line was at that time, and that it seemed as though British Rail were kind of running it to death. Yeah, that'd be an interesting point. Yeah. We are coming into Stratford, which is kind of the jewel in the crown, really. Yeah, there it is. There's the London Stadium. And I think there's a view somewhere with some Union Jack flags as well. Yes. Yeah, I think British Rail were almost, seemed as though they're on the verge of wanting to close it. That's the DLR line, isn't it? And I mean, I haven't tried it, but as far as I know, I mean, you obviously, well, you couldn't drive it because it's driverless, but I presume you can't kind of try and board the train. Yeah, it's very bouncy here, isn't it? I think that's the aquatic centre, isn't it? And again, see all the London skyline with the skyscrapers. Then again, that detail with the road bridge and those crossings and the traffic lights. Yeah, it's good to see it in though. We can see an Elizabeth line train there as well, and of course they are racing through every few moments. We're gliding into the platform. All right, excellent. Of course, there's that other one, isn't there? The Shepherd's Bush as well, isn't there? And yeah, I've only been around. I didn't go to the Olympics, unfortunately. Oh, there's a Greater Anglia service as well. I noticed Matt Pendleton was very particular not to call it Greater Anglia in the stream. Is that bridge like that in real life, where it's open going over the top, or is it covered? I've been to Stratford station, but I don't think I've ever been over that bridge. I remember actually in the Train Sim Classic version we had an issue with it where I think the people were dropping through it or something, or they had a few issues with it. Excuse me, I'm supposed to be shutting my left doors, aren't I? There we go. Whoa, we still got a... Apparently we've got a platinum medal, but I mean that's nonsense because it wasn't a great run really. Right, okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I never went to the Olympics. I did go to the when they had the World Athletics Championship a few years back, so that was quite enjoyed that, but never managed to go to the Olympics in 2012. Yeah, incredible, really. I've turned the music off, by the way, so as you don't get that blasty music in between these runs. Right, so let's go back to free mode. So let's just try and find a decent angle, and then I think what we'll do is we'll just keep the camera on for a bit and just watch the busyness that is Stratford Station. Some of that catenary, I think they've used that clearly from the Goblin line. There's one or two things that perhaps not 100% perfect, but it's I'm sure it's accurate looking enough. Don't know what that building over there's called, but I do remember seeing that in Train Sim. Classic. And he got this from he built this, what did he say, was it Transport Tycoon, I think. Great here as well that you've got that bit of the tube line represented. I mean, I know it's the Bakerloo line train, but it's done. Hello Daniel, well welcome to the stream. I'm only doing the one run tonight, and I've done the run from Willesden Junction to Stratford, and we've had a bit of a look around at the route as best I can as well. There's the DLR leaving as well. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Daniel. I can't remember. Apologies if you've watched before, but hope you enjoyed the video. And if you are able to like and subscribe, I'd be tremendously grateful. My bus looks as though it's getting a bit on the fast side down the hill. Oh, excellent, Daniel. Yeah, it's a hugely busy freight line, isn't it? The North London line, and it's, you know, you've kind of got Harwich, you've got Felixstowe, and then all places over onto the West Coast Main line. Yeah, London's, I think, it's an amazing place, and I think Johannes has done a fantastic job. trying to just get in a view where we can see everything. I think that might do us. I think that might be an angle. Do you think that looks all right? Oh, good evening, Ivan. Yeah, thanks for joining us. And again, apologies. It's only going to be a shortish stream tonight. I mean, you will be able to watch it back. Ah, excellent, Daniel. That's it's great that we've got the branding on the Elizabeth Line train as well. Oh, agreed. Absolutely agreed. Probably more realistically, I suppose, TSW6. Who knows? Perhaps that's what they're working on at the moment. I think the Greater Anglia. I mean, I'm sure it's a line that's close to your heart, but it's something I would love to see as well. I mean, I'm quite sure that, I think we've said before, haven't we, but whatever they're working on with TSW6 as their primary route, as the main route, will have been well underway for some time. I'm quite sure about that. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? How protective some of these TOCs are over the brand names. I mean, you know, you feel on the face of it, it's great advertising. You know, what's the problem? Why wouldn't you want your branding to be shown off in a positive way on a train simulator? They don't have to be massively involved with it. They just need to grant the license. But yeah, it seems as though when everything goes over to Great British Railways, then it's seemingly all going to be a lot easier. I mean, the thing is, I mean, all that debacle over the LNWR branding as well, that they thought they got and then they hadn't. I mean, I've always thought, well, perhaps they had the license for West Midlands trains and then they kind of said, well, we're happy with West Midlands trains, but we don't want you to use LNWR. But it really made no difference. They released the route without the branding, and within days somebody had done it for the on the Trains of Community site anyway. Yeah, well, as much as we possibly can. And, you know, I suppose you do see videos on YouTube of people crashing the game, but I don't know. It's only a train game at the end of the day, isn't it? So I don't see why they should get too hung up about it. But, you know, it's like, well, why can't they just release routes without the licensing anyway? I mean, that's what they had to do with the 350 in the end, and I don't think it detracted from the sales, really, did it? Yeah, it's slightly, I don't know why it is, but it's slightly annoying me, some of those gantries there, because they're very much not quite like the sort of West Coast Main Line style gantries that you see around Stratford. So, but still, I'm sure it's close enough. Here we got another. Well, it's representing a 345 anyway. I'm not competent enough to tell you the difference between a 710 and a 345. It looks fairly accurate because we haven't got the purple seats within the train. Damn good point, yeah, damn good point. And I mean, I've always assumed, I think ATS was successful because they have one of the ATS gang. I think that Hayden is a Greater Anglia driver, isn't he? He drives the flirts in real life, so presumably that smoothed the path for putting it into Train Sim Classic. So what's the difference? Why would they have something against Train Sim World 5? And I mean, I know like with TfL they've been kind of quite involved, and you know, people like Avanti have been quite involved clearly with helping them with the build of the units, and some of these TOCs have worked really closely with DTG, but it's kind of like, well, if they don't want to do that, it's like, well, use the name and go away and do what you want to do. Well, I do wonder on the side whether DTG are kind of regretting the idea of ATS being on board. It was interesting that, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the roadmap that's coming up, a lot of interesting stuff, but the Manchester commuter route's still at least 3 months away. I did enjoy though those photos that were put up the other day though of the route, and you saw like shots of Longsight Depot and Manchester Piccadilly and Manchester Airport. That all looks nice and realistic. The only bit I haven't seen any shots of are Stockport station, so maybe that bit's not quite finished off yet. Really must have another go at the 745 again on Train Sim Classic, because I've only done it a couple of times. You know, it certainly deserves a bit more of a run out. Yeah, definitely am. I mean, it is a massive shame. I know, you know, we're constantly talking about the routes being too short, but it is a shame that it doesn't go to Crewe, because it's kind of like if you do Manchester Piccadilly to Wilmslow via Stockport and a Pendolino, I think it's about 20 odd minutes, something like that. It's something like 7 minutes, I think, non-stop from Piccadilly to Stockport. But it's good that you've kind of got that bit of variety, so you know, you'll be able to do the Pendolino stuff with Piccadilly to Wilmslow in particular, but also you've got that different route, Wilmslow to well, Alderley Edge really, to via Manchester Airport to Manchester Piccadilly. Great the amount of traffic they've got in Stratford. I mean, I think literally the only thing that's missing is the expresses, and I think they're only, I don't know if is it once an hour in each direction, maybe to Norwich. So essentially everything else should be in. And again, it's another idea because it's been crying out for this sort of thing to be done years ago. You know, when they brought out the Cross City line and Birmingham New Street was dead, when they brought out the Glossop line, Manchester Piccadilly was dead. It was sort of, you know, you've got other stock that you can use, that you can fill in, that even if you're cheating slightly, it's better than it just being a quiet station. You know, this is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I suppose as ever, maybe perhaps they haven't put the exact full timetable in, because I suppose maybe it does depend on the time of the day. I mean, just looking at the route map. That's where we are in Stratford. Yeah, you see, you've got Stratford International included, haven't you? Or that'll be that's the DLR, isn't it? Yeah, DLR service from Stratford International to Woolwich Arsenal. And you've got that big loop of a line that goes round as well. So that's handy for some of the freight stuff actually, isn't it? London Fields. There's quite a bit involved here. That's the Dalston Junction. I'll be interested to see if we've got the station included on that. And then you have the platforms and the building at least at King's Cross, but there's no catenary. St Pancras, we've got a connection actually off the North London line. Yeah, and again, it's that constant argument about it, isn't it, over the consoles. I mean, there seem to be, I think they are gradually realising that they've got to drop support for some of the older consoles now, haven't they? It's just not possible. Yeah, so Willesden Junction, there's obviously the West Coast Main Line with Willesden. And then not totally sure what that bit is. but there's quite a bit included. Good thing is that because we've got the sound mod already included for the Bakerloo line stop, then we've got the nice sounds of it coming in as well. Yeah, no doubt there'll be mods to these timetables, but Lee Fawkes must be exhausted with all the efforts that he's put on the West Coast Main line to contemplate doing another timetable upgrade, but I'm sure somebody will do it. Yes, yeah, there's something on the forums, isn't there? Kind of somebody saying question mark, you know, death of the Gen 8 consoles maybe for Train Sim World. And I think maybe at least they are beginning to see that it really is a limitation, and it's an annoyance for the PC users. We just want to see what's best for the game and to see a timetable done to the absolute maximum. I mean, probably not that far off from getting to the point where I'll struggle if something really good comes out. I'll think, well, I need a new PC as well, or at least upgrade the existing one to get it up to absolute top-notch standard. But I was, I'll say, very impressed by the idea of this Frankfurt route and the fact that there's 3 journeys on it as well on that Frankfurt S-Bahn. That looks entertaining. Again, in the forum, somebody's posted a link to the videos of the real life journey, so let's watch a bit of that. But plenty of interesting stuff to come. Yeah, marvellous. Yeah, I mean, mine's even older than that. I bought mine literally just a few weeks before COVID started, because I remember walking into the shop, and at the time you were still being served by real people and everybody was walking about normally, and you were kind of conscious and thinking it might not be carrying on for much longer. So I just thought, well, if I'm going to be at home a lot, then I could do with a new PC. I mean, as I think you've said, you know, you don't necessarily need to buy a whole new PC and just keep upgrading bits and bobs. So we'll just try a little bit of a different view, perhaps. Try something different. Don't seem to. I don't remember. Did it ever ask me whether I wanted to give up control? I don't think it did it? So that 378's probably. We've probably delayed the. We've probably delayed the timetable no end. Blocked it completely. That's perhaps why I haven't got any freight coming through. got working lifts, have we? I don't know about for definite. Oh, hang on. I'm going to get run over here. Yeah, we might be blocking. No, not interested in that in the least. I don't really massively bother about, you know, the collectibles and all that sort of stuff, and you know, it's kind of a bit of fun. And sometimes you might see the odd map that you click on. Loving the skyline now as it's beginning to go dark as well. So probably won't be going for much longer. I think we've had a... Ooh, we should be able to get down there, shouldn't we? That's a shame. Probably switch it off shortly. I mean, it's a cracking idea that to use a model that he built in Transport Tycoon, and it absolutely does the job. Yeah, absolutely do. Yeah, it's beautifully done. A quick look across the Olympic Park. He is very, very, very talented, very good. Even the scene away from there. I love stuff like this as well. You've even got people crossing the road there. Okay, it looks they might get run over. Those buses are taking that curve a bit on the sharpish side, running over the pavement as well. We could do with that cutting out, but I love how you've even got the button there for the, okay, obviously you can't click it, but for the crossing. And there's just one or two things that perhaps could be tidied up with a, again, it's, you know, it's all about time. I like that as well. That's showing red for crossing, isn't it? Yeah, it is, and it's just little added details like that, because we've not, stuff like that we've just not seen in games on Trains of the World. Certainly not the UK routes anyway. Not sure about anywhere else. But, you know, having the cabs there as well. Just having generally people walking about, because everywhere's previously been like a ghost town before. You've had some cars, and to have a busy scene as well with lots of traffic coming through. I think the only thing they need to sort is just what's going on with the passengers at the stations, and if we could have a lot of people coming in and out of the stations, getting on and off the trains is what I mean, then that would just add something to it. Yeah, I've definitely plugged up the overground, haven't I? I don't think we've seen a single overground train leaving the station since we've arrived. Right, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Amaze Days, for the company, for watching, for the chat as ever, and for everybody else that's watched this. I think we've just about passed the 100 mark for the time that we've been on the stream, and really enjoyed that. And I'm sure there's plenty more runs to come on the North London line. We'll have a proper stream on Sunday where we'll have a bit more in depth. We'll do some freight runs, we'll have some more runs with the 378 and perhaps link it in with the DC line. I'll leave the stream running perhaps for another few minutes. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the week. And see you on Sunday. It'll be Sunday usual time at 5 o'clock. And thank you very much, everybody. And again, if you've enjoyed the video, then please, if you'll consider liking and subscribing, I'd be tremendously grateful. And until Sunday, from me, it's good night. Thank you.